Hi everyone. So I have decided to put up a list of books that I've been thinking about reading or that have been on my TBR at some point and ask all of you what your opinions on these books are. Now, of course, at the end it will be my choice of reading or not reading them, but I just want your opinion on whether you think they are worthy of being read. So the first book we have here is Hatred Day by T.S. Pettibone. So the premise sounds really good of this book. Apparently it is about the world being united, not by like love or anything, but a hatred of these extraterrestrials that basically destroyed the Earth's atmosphere, I suppose. And yeah, the next one is How to Ditch Your Fairy, which these next two books, well, actually, Hatred Day. This one and the next one I found through Anne on Book Your Imagination's channel. And the premise of this one sounds kind of funny and dark at the same time. This is about, I think, a world or a society where you get your own personal fairy. For certain things, and the protagonist has a parking fairy she wants to get rid of for a better fairy. And then we have My Sister Rosa by the same author, I believe, yeah. And this is about a young man, I guess he's a boy or a teenager or something like that, and he comes to discover that his younger sister, who I guess he does love and care about, is actually a psychopath. And he kind of has to, I guess, watch out for her and protect people from her. And I thought that was an interesting premise. Then we have Baby Teeth, and apparently this one is supposed to be about a mother who believes her young 7-year-old daughter is trying to, I think, kill her or drive her away because she is jealous of the relationship between the mother and the father. I guess she wants all her dad's attention. And the mother thinks that her young daughter is fairly dangerous. And then we have Sadie, which I've heard some things about on BookTube. This one I think is more young adult, so I've heard a little bit more about it than the first 3 books there. But this one seems a little bit more on the darkish side, too. I believe, if I remember correctly, it has something to do with maybe a girl whose sister or friend is murdered and she's trying to get revenge or something. Then we have To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And I put this one on here simply because it just sounds like a cute premise. I often read a lot of books that are kind of heavy and more on the depressing and dark side, and not saying that light books can't be deep and meaningful. So I'm going to check this one out. Then we have The Bear and the Nightingale. I haven't heard a whole lot about this book, but it sort of sounds like something fairy tale-ish that I might want to check out and know more about. I know I read the synopsis and I can't totally remember what it's all about, but I believe it has something to do with, I don't know, Russian fairy tales or folklore or something like that. And, yeah, I just want to know more about this one. And then we have The Girl Who Drank the Moon, which I've heard a little bit about from BookTube. Not a whole lot. I've seen this in stores. And I think it has all to do with magic, misconceptions, and a witch, and all that other stuff. And I, every so often, like a good fantasy or whimsical, middle grade book. And yeah, I'll be picking this one up maybe. Then we have The Girl with All the Gifts. So I seen this in a thrift store, and then I started hearing about it on Goodreads, a little bit on BookTube, but everything is just really, really mysterious, and I guess it's hard to talk about it without giving certain things away. But from what I hear, it is a twist on like the zombie genre, and just listening to a little bit of the audio sample, it sounds like really interesting. So then we have Where the Crawdads Sing. So this is a new one that's been popping up like in book talks, and I haven't heard a whole lot about it on BookTube. I have, but not as much as like on either Goodreads or like Facebook groups. So I just a lot of mixed things about this one that I hear. I hear people like it, and then I hear an unpopular opinion that they didn't. So yeah, let me know what you think. And then we have Eleanor Oliphant, I believe, is completely fine. This is another one that was so new that I didn't completely know the premise until just recently. Oh, the Crawdads Sing, I think, is about like this mysterious swamp woman or something. I forgot to mention that. But Eleanor Oliphant sounds like me, but not me, so I'm interested in checking that out. Then we have Convenience Store Woman. And this is a novel originally written in Japanese, I believe. And it is about a woman who works at a convenience store, in Japan. And, as a person who does work in one in the United States, I thought that was kind of interesting. You don't hear about that too often. Then we have a man called, I don't know if it's Ove or Ave. I think it might be Ave. And I've heard a lot of mixed things about this one too. I'm trying to get more into adult literature, or what's considered adult literature. And I want stuff that, could be meaningful and stuff. And I hear this one is pretty meaningful. Then we have Caraval, which I like I like the idea of it. And it's pretty cool, that there's an author who shares my name, obviously. So there's points for that one. But the whole mysterious, I think, carnival thing or whatever is kind of interesting. So check that out. Then we have Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I think I had this on my TBR before. I hear there's not a whole lot going on, but there's like good character development and good dialogue, which I really like. So I'm not always a big action person or something really, really needs to go on. I love like character development and slice of life and, good dialogue. Then we have The Hate U Give. So this one has had a lot of opinions. Some liked it, some hated it, some really loved it. And I've been kind of wary about picking this one up because sometimes advertisements and even reviews don't portray things the way they really are. And some portrayals, reviews, etc. can make this book come off as, I guess you would say maybe stereotypical among different types of people, different races, cultures, etc. And